And welcome to another edition of Dave Rothenberg's Giants Obsession. This is exactly what it's become, an obsession searching for a win. We are live immediately after another Giants catastrophic loss where they just play terrible football. You watch 60 minutes of football and realize to yourself, they're not going to win. Never at 6-6, you didn't think they were going to win. And the entirety of the second half, even though it was close for a stretch, at least I never did. Maybe you feel differently. Never thought this team was going to win. So we'll go through the stats. We'll go through the numbers. We'll look at what this team is and what they're not. And at what point is it time to move to Jackson Dart? And what is Russell Wilson? And, you know, it's the same stuff over and over and over. And a couple of things that jump off the page. And, of course, you can comment and shoot your questions in, and we'll get to them at some point in the next 20, 25 minutes. Like us, subscribe to us. It's very important because here's the truth, okay? I have very little now. I have very little. I'm a Giants fan. I'm a Mets fan, and I don't have anything going for myself right now. Nothing. So comment, subscribe, like, questions. Let's make this interactive because, I mean, I'm falling apart on live, I guess for lack of a better word, television right now, right in front of your eyes. Is this what you want? Is it what you paid for? Well, congratulations. This is what you're going to get. So a couple of observations quickly from the game that you saw tonight. I don't, I watch every game, really, like every game. I don't know that I ever remember a kicker really almost ever getting injured in pregame warmups and not being able to kick during the course of the game. Well, that's happened to the Giants twice in the last year. If you remember, it happened in Washington, the game where Malik Neighbors dropped that pass and they couldn't kick field goals, and they lost that game down in Washington. It was the first time they played the Commanders last year, and then it happened again tonight. Is that on coaching? Is that on Shane? Is that just bad luck? I don't know what the answer is. All I know is, like, how do these things that seem like they're improbable or unfathomable continue to happen to this organization? Right? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. How does this continue to happen? Well, I guess bad, and I say this all the time, I guess bad teams find ways to lose games. Well, here we are, guys. You're 0-3. And I don't think I'm really the bearer of the bad news. I think this is true. The season is over. Again, the Giants, I heard a stat on the way here. And this is unbelievable. They are 3-21 in their last 24 primetime games. 3-21 in their last 24 primetime games. They are the haves of the NFL, right? There's the Eagles, and even though the Packers lost today, I think they're one of those teams. And the Rams, the Lions are good, and the Bills, right? Those are and then you have the have-nots, the Giants, the Jets, the Saints. Those are the have-nots. We are a have-not right now. So congratulations. That we are now, and every year you keep thinking to yourself and saying to yourself, well, it won't get worse. Well, it does. And it does, because again, you watch that game, 60 minutes of football. Did you think they had a chance to win? You don't win in this league if you don't have 300 yards of offense. You don't. Now, did Scadaboo look good? Yeah, he looked good. He did. I mean, listen, he ran well. He runs hard. He runs over guys. He can catch the football out of the backfield. I don't know that you want him to carry, touch the ball. What do you have? 10 catches and 6 receptions 16 times a game? Because, of course, Tyrone Tracy goes out with what looked like a shoulder injury, but it's the same stuff. It's the same stuff. It's like Malik Neighbors. Into the fourth quarter, the Giants had completed 2 passes to a wide receiver. 2. You don't win in this league if you don't have 300 yards of total offense. And week 1 offensively was an abomination. Week 2 offensively was an explosion. And you thought to yourself, well, what are they? Are they week 1? Are they week 2? Are they somewhere in the middle? Well, let's be fair. They're week 1, right? When you can barely move the football and you're an abomination in the red zone and you're the laughing stock of the NFL and the entire league gets to watch this on national television on a Sunday night, that's what you are. That's what you are, right? And I say this all the time. And I say it on this show all the time. If you can't spot the sucker at the table, you are the sucker. This is Giants football right now. So it's unimaginable that the kicker, last year this happens, tonight it happens, and they run out the punter to kick the extra point when this game is tied at 6, and it gets blocked, and it was a catastrophe. And later in the game, somehow, all of a sudden, Graham Gano is able to kick a field goal. Make it make sense. Please make it make sense. Chris King says kickers need to be addressed. Yeah, kicker needs to be addressed. I don't understand. You're paying him $5.5 million for what? I mean, you wouldn't think to yourself the kicker would be a question of health. Kicker should just be a foregone conclusion. He's going to be fine. Not with this football team. It's the same stuff over and over and over. Russell Wilson, I mean, come on. 18 of 32. Did you see the end of the game where he throws the ball into the tunnel and gets a grounding penalty? They move back 10 yards. And on the next play, the most unathletic quarterback in the NFL runs a quarterback draw. How unimaginative, how despicable is this offense right now? Edwin, I can't even read. My eyes are very tired. Edwin something says Russ hasn't won a game since December. Right. Russ took a team to the postseason last year, lost to Baltimore, has come here now, is 0-3. Now, listen, last week is not his fault. They should have won that game. He gave them the lead, but that was an aberration. That's not what the Giants are. That's the outlier. The Giants aren't going to be scared. They scored 9 points. They scored 6 in week 1. This is not a football team that's going to put up 37 points. We're coming into tonight. Russell Wilson led the NFL in passing yards. Oh, forget it. Come on. The biggest fallacy in all of football right now. Russell Wilson is a subpar quarterback, and how long do we have to wait? How long? Because this is the one. What else is there? ML, the True Crime says zero creativity. Right. That's right. Zero creativity. But in listening to Carl Banks on the way here on the broadcast, he said there's nobody open. I mean, Darius Slayton is paid $12 million. For what? Malik Neighbors is the only threat offensively outside of Scatterboo at the running back position. And they came out running the ball well. They did. How is it that they came out running the ball well and pounding the football? I mean, Tracy looked good. He had a spin move on his second carry. They're picking up first downs. They bring Scatterboo in. He crushes off 2 defenders. He runs out left. He picks up a first down. You get into field goal range. You have to go. Why? The kicker can't kick. The kicker can't kick. Welcome to Giants football. But how is it that this organization puts themselves in a position where, hey, they can run the football? Wouldn't you think? I mean, you don't have to be Vince Lombardi to at this point think to yourself, you know what? The running game is working. You know what might be great off the running game? Hey, psst, come here. Let's run a play action. Right? Right? I mean, let's run a play action. Where's Theo Johnson? Where's Wan'Dale Robinson? Where's Darius Slayton? Where's Malik Neighbors? Now, I get it. Every team's game plan is going to be shut down Malik Neighbors. He will not beat us. Fine. So if he goes his way and he's not open, then somebody else has to be, no? And how are you running the ball effectively? And what the hell is going on with Andrew Thomas? Oh, what's that about? He's able to play, but he can't play the second half. And they give him a shot at, on the sideline, and he's laughing and giggling. I give up. For dear God, I give up. I can't do it anymore. This is 3 games in. I got 14 more of these to go. How many wins are there going to be? 3 again? And then what's going to happen? They'll win a big home game at 2-13 this year. Then they'll bring back the same regime saying, we see them heading in the right direction. Do you? Do you see this team heading in the right direction? Because for the life of me, I don't. Your offense was bad last year, right? Was it bad last year? You brought the same thing back, but you changed the quarterback. Maybe it was never a Daniel Jones problem. Maybe it was the Giants are a dysfunctional problem. Is that possible? Because it feels pretty right now. So Andrew Thomas is out there, and they're focusing on him, and, oh, look at what he's doing to Chris Jones, and he's driving him off the ball, and he looks so good, and the offense is different, and then he's done. And then he doesn't play. Starting on the last drive of the first half for the rest of the game. Now Andrew Thomas doesn't play? I mean, I understand giving him a little rest. Maybe he can't go every single drive, but the second half of the game, wow, man, this team is something. They really are. They really are. And have you ever seen anything like these backwards passes that the Chiefs are running tonight? They're throwing the ball in their own backfield. The ball is loose. Two Giants have a chance to jump on it. Okereke somehow has it in his arms, and Patrick Mahomes, like he's Superman, comes shooting in from the side and rips it out of his arms. I'm telling you, I can't do it. I give up. I give up. I'm sorry. I give up. I can't do this anymore. Maybe we end this show right now. Maybe I get up, I go home, I go to bed, I do my radio show, and I pretend this never happened. That this is just a bad dream. Because that's what it feels like. How can you just continue to make the same mistakes continuously over and over and over? It makes no sense. Tony Kim, the only Giant who's fighting through is Dave. He's got to go live in 6 hours. Yeah, I do. And I do this for me, and I do this for you. And I thought it would be cathartic, and it's not at all. It's painful, is what it is. You know who played well tonight? Let me give you a moment of positivity. Brian Burns, a good football player, played well. Really, he looked like he was motivated, and it was wonderful the whole night through. And of course, I'm watching the game like, great, he tore his Achilles. He did not. He went off the field with I guess an ankle. Came back on. Terrific football player. Secondary, how many times did Paulson Adebo have a chance to pick off the football and just was unable to? And how about 6-6 end of the first half? You have the ball. Now, I know there's no field goal range because you don't have a field goal kicker, but you have the football and you just decide to throw it up to Malik Neighbors. Now that gets picked off. And then you're in a position where you have a chance to jump on a fumble. You don't. They wind up getting a penalty, illegal contact, pick up a first down. The next play, they throw it 60 yards downfield, and Drew Phillips interferes with Hollywood Brown. Field goal range, field goal, 9-6, game over. Good night. We should have started live in the second half doing this because the game was over at that point. They're a bad football team. And you know what the worst thing of it is? Is it honestly, and I mean this sincerely, I don't take the blame for them being a bad football team. I take the blame for continuing to be upset by a bad football team. And I'm sure you feel the same way, right? Like we sit here and the days lead up to the game and you start to, well, the Chiefs aren't very good. And why can't we? And the Giants maybe. And possibly they can. And maybe they will. And then you watch again, like, no, it's the same crap all over again. Well, here you are. It's Giants football from 2023. And it's Giants football from 2024, and it's Giants football from 2025, and it's Giants football from 2017 and 2018 and 2019, and you have the one blip. Right? In 2021, where somehow in some miracle world you made the postseason. No, it was 22. You made the postseason. 23, garbage. 24, garbage. 25, garbage. So you have one blip, and then in 2015, where you made the postseason, and Odell and the rest of the cast of characters decided, you know what we'll do right now? We'll rip our shirts off, wear jeans, go on a boat, and put images all over the place. Since they won the Super Bowl, and I get it, they've won 4. And that's amazing. There's a lot of fan bases that would give anything to have 4 championships. But since they won that championship in February of 2012, this organization has been a disaster. And what's most troublesome to me is, how does it get better? How does it get better? It starts at the top. Is John Mara a great owner right now? No. Is Joe Schoen a good GM right now? No. Is Brian Daboll a good head coach right now? No. How does it get better? You know what the answer is? I don't know. You don't know. And the worst part of all of it is, I don't think they know. I don't think they know. Yov Markowitz says, Dave, what do you feel good about moving forward this season? What do I feel good about? I think Andrew Thomas is a good player if and when he's ever healthy. I feel excited to watch Jackson Dart take the field and not run the read option every single time. When are we going to make this change? I'll get into things I feel good about, and then I'll talk about Jackson Dart. I feel good about Brian Burns. I feel like he's a great player. I feel good about the guys that can, like the playmakers on defense. I feel good about and will feel better, I imagine, about Abdul Carter. I feel good about Dexter Lawrence. I feel good about Kayvon Thibodeau. I feel really good about Brian Burns. That's about it on defense. I mean, secondary, I guess they're improved, but it's not good. I feel good about Andrew Thomas when he's healthy. I'm curious to see more of Cam Scatterbo. I feel good about Malik Neighbors, and I'm ready to watch Jackson Dart play football. I'm not gonna. I can't sit here and watch Russell Wilson continuously go back there, hold the ball, get sacked, hold the ball, throw it away, and look like this is the first time he's ever dropped it back into the pocket, because that's what it is now. Is he ready? I don't know if he's ready. I don't have the answer for you. All I know is there's a lot of excitement about this kid, and all I know is there's no excitement about this team outside of this kid. So if not now, when? You see their schedule? It's the Chargers, which is brutal, and then it's at the Saints, which you'd think you'd have a chance to win, but who the hell knows, right? Then it's Eagles, Broncos, Eagles, Niners. So if the Giants can't win that game in New Orleans, when? When? So do you want that to be Jackson Dart's first start? Or do you want it to be against the Chargers this week at home, where if they can possibly win that game or play that game competitively, at least you give him a winnable game for his second game? I don't know what the answer is. All I know is I can't sit here and watch the same thing week in and week out and do this 4 times a week and open my heart and my soul to you guys having seen another putrid performance. I mean, I would imagine almost all of you, unless you're masochists and just want a man break down live on television, I imagine most, if not all of you, are fans of the Giants, right? Did you ever once tonight feel like, you know what? We're going to get this game. You know what? We're going to find a way to win this. No, never. 6-6, should have had the football, didn't have it. Long interference, field goal, touchdown, game over. Game over. And on the telecast, they're doing everything within their power to make it seem as if the Giants had a chance. I could have told you they never, ever, ever had a chance. Wilson was 18 of 32 for 160 yards. And Scatterbo had 61 of those yards. So what did he complete to wide receivers? Slayton was I'm going to write it down and add up. 30 yards to Slayton, 26 to Wan'Dale Robinson, 13 to Malik Neighbors, and that's it. So it's 30 and 26 is 56, which is a good number in Giants history, and 13. They had 69 yards of receptions from the wide receivers tonight. And what did they have last week against clearly the worst defense in all of football? 300 plus. So you tell me what's wrong with this team, because I give up. I don't know what's wrong. I just know that what they're doing doesn't work. And I know that change is going to have to happen. So if that starts next week with the quarterback, then so be it. If it starts at the end of the year with the head coach, then so be it. If it starts at the end of the year by cleaning house, then so be it. David G sends in the comment, fire everyone. Would you be heartbroken by that? If the Giants decided to completely clean house? How could you be? How much more do we have to endure? Now, again, I don't think the defense was great, but 22 points? And that was one of the keys that I had last week, win over keys to the game. If you get, what did I say? Whoever gets to 20 points first will win this game. Well, only one team got there, and that team won this game. And they won this game comfortably. They didn't only win this game, they covered pretty easily. Bobby Bugs comments. He says, defensive front got good pressure, but horrible tackling kept plays alive. They had pressure on him all night. And I get it's Patrick Mahomes. They got to him once. One time. There were a number of times they could have gotten him down. There was the one play where Collinsworth was having terrific fun with the telestrator, and he was, he's like, this is like TikTok, and in and out and in and out and up and down, and look at him go. And he had 7 seconds to throw the football. I get it, he's great. But his big weapon tonight was Tyquan Thornton. It's not like this is a proficient, elite, unstoppable offense. It's not like the Chiefs went up and down the field. In fact, just the opposite. The Giants were in this game, had every opportunity to probably win this game. But again, this is what bad teams do. Bad teams are right there. They're right there. And they have a chance to take it and rip it and win it. And because they're not good, they don't do it. And they never do it. And that's what bad teams do. Like us, subscribe to us. It's vitally important. It's vitally important to continue this show going along. Because good news, everyone. We've only got 14 more of these. How many games is this team going to win? John something or other, Rubio maybe, what does that say? Should let a fan in the crowd coach the team each week would be better. Yeah, cute. Listen, how many times are you going to make the same mistakes? I mean, lining up in the neutral zone and jumping off sides and personal fouls. And it's the same crap week in and week out. But I guess in some way it's our fault for falling for it again, for thinking it would be better. Like, how is it going to be better if you don't make change? Well, what changes can they make? Well, the big one feels like they can make a change to the quarterback. I think it's time, isn't it? If we said it last week, Russell Wilson played really well, and it was great. I mean, in overtime he wasn't, and that carried over to this game. But we said it last week when Russell Wilson was great. That will calm down the let's get Jackson Dart onto the field for at least a week. Well, it did. It calmed it down for a week, and now we're a week later, and now it's going to be brought back up. And I will lead the charge. Jackson Dart should start against the Chargers next week, unequivocally, in my mind. So you got the kicker. I mean, is that on the coach? I don't even know. But it doesn't reflect well upon him. You got Russell Wilson, who looks lost. You got the fact they ran no play action tonight to try to, work the run game in conjunction with play action and then throw it downfield. And you had fumbles, which are just sitting there, and they did nothing with them. And again, week 1, brutal offense. Week 2, great offense. Week 3, brutal offense. You tell me, what's the common theme? Well, everyone who goes up against Dallas moves the football at will. Caleb Williams looked like Bart Starr today at Soldier Field. Caleb Williams looked like Sid Luckman at Soldier Field today. So I don't think it's Russell Wilson just happened to, out of thin air, play great in week 2. It feels to me like Dallas's defense is an abomination, and everyone that goes up against it will play great football. Be it Jalen Hurts in week 1, or Russell Wilson in week 2, or Caleb Williams in week 3. Chicago ran a flea flicker today that might have been the most awkward, nondescript flea flicker I've ever seen, where Swift pitched it back to Williams. It felt like it was in the air for 5 seconds. He got it. He threw it up. The receiver couldn't have been more open, hauls it in, and brings it in for a touchdown. Caleb Williams, who almost exclusively in his NFL career looks lost, was incredible in this game today. Threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns and was remarkable. So don't expect it to get better next week against the Chargers. Maybe it gets a little better against the Saints. But I'll tell you one thing right now, and the Saints looked, atrocious in Seattle today. Punt returns, kick returns, interceptions, you name it, they gave it up. They play the Bills next week. They'll be 0-4. I imagine the Giants will be 0-4. I promise you that Saints regime and coaching staff and players will circle on their calendar and say, guys, we're home. This is a game we can win. This is a game we have to find a way to win. Jesse Mancini, the Giants organization is putrid. Mara's family members in the front office since 2012. That's the consistent piece. They've destroyed the franchise. We're the worst franchise in the NFL since then. I can't argue with you. I mean, they finally got computers in the building a couple years ago, and Dave Gettleman was very excited about that. Remember, he brought in these computer folk, and they truly were really excited about Joe Shane, that he was, progressive, and he believed in football analytics. But it's not working. And what I've heard from a lot of inside people is that Shane and Dable are not tied at the hip. That there's a real chance that the Giants will move on from Dable and keep Shane. How? How will the fan base allow it? Now, maybe it gets so off the rails that they just can't make a case that they can do that. But how could you possibly think that Joe Shane has put the pieces for Brian? See, I think we're at the point now where Brian Dable's probably not a good coach in the NFL. But you can't make the case that he's been given the weapons and the pieces from the GM to make this thing look good. So it's the same crap. And you know what? Nico and Steve can take this block of content and record it, and I can do voiceovers, and I can just change like Patrick Mahomes for Justin Herbert and Isaiah Pacheco for Amarian Hampton, and we can just dub it and use it next week. In fact, watch. You know what? Let me do this now, and then I don't have to come in next Sunday after the Giants lose to the Chargers. Boy, Chargers only won by 9, but I got to tell you, it never felt like the Giants really had much chance in that game. Boy, I got to tell you, Jim Harbaugh really outcoached Brian Dable when it counted, didn't he? Boy, didn't feel like Russell Wilson could get anything going in this game. And then they brought Jackson Dart in, and it felt very desperate to me. Boy, they have one weapon on offense. My goodness, there's some talent defensively, but they just can't get it done effectively yet again. Just take it and package it and play it next week because it's the same stuff every single week. Welcome to Giants football. Welcome to Giants football. All right, so we're going to do this tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern. We're going to do this Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern. Tomorrow is going to be passionate and angry and nasty and furious. And then by Wednesday, I'll have calmed down. And then Friday, we'll look ahead to the Chargers, and there'll be some semblance of excitement. And then Sunday, we'll lose again, and we'll do it again. It's rinse and repeat is what it is. You take a shower, you soap down your body, you put the shampoo in your hair, right? You get it out, you rinse, you repeat. That's what we'll do. We'll rinse, we'll repeat. We'll rinse, we'll repeat. They're 0-1, we'll repeat. They're 0-2, we repeat. They're 0-3, we repeat. They'll be 0-4, we'll repeat. We'll be here. We'll be here every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Like us, subscribe to us. We're in this together, and it's going to be a long, miserable season. See you tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern on Dave Rothenberg's Giants Obsession.